Thomas the Tank Engine is very proud of his branch line. He thinks it is the most important part of the whole railway. He has 2 coaches. They are old and need new paint, but he loves them very much. He calls them Annie and Clarabel. Annie can only take passengers, and Clarabel can take passengers, luggage, and the guard. As they run backwards and forwards along the line, Thomas sings them little songs, and Annie and Clarabel sing too. When Thomas starts from a station, he sings, "Oh, come along, we're rather late, oh, come along, we're rather late." And the coaches sing, "We're coming along, we're coming along." They don't mind what Thomas says to them, because they know he's trying to please the Fat Controller. And when Thomas is cross, he knows they're not cross with him. He is cross with the engines on the main line who have made him late. One day, they had to wait for Henry's train. It was late. Thomas was getting crosser and crosser. "How can I run my line properly if Henry is always late?" At last, Henry came. "Now where have you been, lazy bones?" says Thomas crossly. "How can I run my line properly if you're always late? Don't you realize that the Fat Controller depends on me? Oh dear, my system is out of order. No one understands my case. You don't know what I suffer," moaned Henry. "Rubbish," said Thomas. "You're too fat. You need exercise. Look, here comes James. I wonder what he's up to. Maybe he's not being late like you are." Henry groaned. As Thomas's harsh words hit Henry's smokebox, lots of people with piles of luggage got out of Henry's train and they all climbed into Annie and Clarabel. Thomas had to wait until they were ready, which took quite a long time. One woman, who had suddenly met an old friend on the platform, put down her snowboard so she could talk to her. The guard, meanwhile, had at last blew his whistle, and Thomas started at once. The guard turned around to climb into Clarabel and tripped over the snowboard and fell flat on his face. By the time the lady had apologized for being so reckless and irresponsible, and the guard had forgiven her and he had picked himself up, Thomas and Annie and Clarabel were steaming out of the station without the guard. Come along, puffed Thomas. But Clarabel didn't want to come. I don't want to, she cried. "I've lost my nice guard, she sobbed. The guard whistled as hard as he could. "Wait, you forgot me! Stop! Annie tried to tell Thomas, "We haven't the guard! But Thomas was hurrying, and he would not listen. "Oh, come along, he puffed impatiently. Annie and Clarabel tried to put on their brakes, but they couldn't without the guard. Where is our guard? They cried. Thomas didn't stop until they came to a red signal. "Bother that signal," said Thomas. "What is the matter?" "I don't know," said his driver. "The guard will tell us in a minute." They waited and waited, but the guard didn't come. "Where is that guard?" whistled Thomas. "We've left him behind," sobbed Annie and Clarabel. The driver, the fireman, and the passengers all looked, and there was the guard, running as fast as he could along the line, with his flags in one hand and his whistle in the other. Everyone cheered him. He was very hot, so he sat down and had a drink and told them all about it. "I'm very sorry, Mr. Guard," said Thomas. "It wasn't your fault," said the guard kindly. "It was that lady's snowboard. Now, come on, everyone back on the train. It's time for us to get going. Look, the signal is down." Everyone boarded the train, and the driver and fireman went back to the cab. The guard blew his whistle, jumped into Clarabel, the signal went up, and Thomas departed. Annie and Clarabel were so pleased to have their guard again that they sang, as fast as you like, to Thomas all the way, and they reached the end of the line quicker than ever before.